Nigel, you spoke to our colleagues in the media after the draw on Tuesday night at Harrogate. You spoke about that match, of course, and rounded up the January transfer window. But let's speak about it in a bit more depth, a bit more meat on the bones, if we may. Is this squad stronger now than it was at the start of the window?
Oh, definitely, yes. Certainly in terms of quality. In terms of quantity, we've trimmed it back a little bit numbers-wise, and I think when the lads get out on loan, James Gale's ready to go out, Ryan Burke's ready to go out, and Jason Law. Jason Law will only go out now because of Matty Longstaff coming in at the last minute. That leaves us with the 18 outfield that we wanted. George Lapsley is injured. Will be a little bit longer than we anticipated, but that still leaves us with a very, very good 17, and then the 3 goalkeepers.
Was it easier to attract the calibre of player in this window because of the run you're on?
I think so, yes. When you're down towards the bottom and people have a look at the league, then inevitably they think, maybe fighting at the wrong end of the table. But I think the sort of run, and all of a sudden you win 8 games, and even with the draw, 25 points out of 27 is an incredible return. So people look at that and think, well, I'll tell you what, they must be doing all right at the moment, playing well. And of course, in Jamie Murphy's case, we've worked with him a couple of times before. And then Matty Longstaff is just sort of one out of the blue, really.
Let's speak about those 2 players, Jamie Murphy and Matty Longstaff. They weren't eligible to play on Tuesday night at Harrogate, but they are for the Colchester match on Tuesday at the One Call Stadium. And not just referring to that match, but if they're selected either for that one or games thereafter, where do you see them playing?
Well, Matty Longstaff's more of a midfielder, so if we play the 3 in there, probably as one of those, or maybe as the one in front, which George Maris has done of late. And Jamie Murphy's just anywhere in the forward line, the front line, play wide, up the middle, off the striker. He's comfortable in any of those.
With the quality of players you now have at your disposal, can we expect a little more rotation perhaps?
I think that was what was highlighted on Tuesday. The running stats could see without actually having them confirmed the next day with the GPS data. The running stats were down. For the midfield mainly, George Maris was down, Ollie Clark was down, Ryan Stirk was down, Jordan Barry was down. So if the lads had been available, they would have probably played. If Lucas had been fit, he would have definitely started. Kieran Wallace the same. Danny Johnson's not played a game since he's come back from injury. James Perch is just coming back, so there's 4 on the bench who couldn't necessarily start, and then the other 2 you're left with Jason Law and Ryan Burke. Jason Law struggled when we played there in the AFL Trophy, so there wasn't a lot of options apart from to go with the same 11. But when Lucas came on for half an hour and Kieran Wallace, it lifted us a little bit and gave us some fresh legs. Looking forward, certainly with the amount of quality, if we can change 3 or 4, if we're playing Saturday, Tuesday, without affecting the balance of the team, and that's the good thing about having the quality, and without the effectiveness of the team, without reducing that, then we'll certainly look at that. It's just because we put so much effort in, and I think everybody, the supporters and everybody see that. When we beat Orient on Saturday, we had to work unbelievably hard to get the victory, and and then everything, the emotions of breaking the record, to go again 3 days later is a big ask. So if you can just change 3 or 4 players, which now we'll have that option to, and then look at it again, for the following Saturday, we'll be doing that.
The versatility of the squad at your disposal now gives you the options, should you so desire, of changing formation as well, perhaps.
Yeah, which we did the other night a little bit. We went 4-3-3. With Quinny wide one side and Jordan wide the other. We had to be nice and solid, especially against the wind first half. And then second half, when we got in at 0-0, and then second half we had the opportunities, the chances to win the game. So that's another factor as well. Just with those 17 or 18 outfield, plenty of permutations.
Does the squad at your disposal now, in terms of its quality, give you heart and encouragement as manager? Because you look a few months back and your squad resembled somewhat of a field hospital, but now you have a rich harvest from which to pick.
Yeah, it certainly did. When we were missing sort of 9 and 10 players, most weeks we struggled to win games, and all of a sudden we've just got Laps really on the sidelines. Kellen's a bit more long term, and that's it. And we want it to stay like that. And we're sort of a little bit of a gamble in terms of numbers. But we can always call lads back who are out on non-league on loan if we're desperate. But with 19 games to go, most of the lads are looking fit and strong at the moment, and we'll take our chance that that'll stay that way for the next 3 months.
Just to get the very latest from you and your official word on individual players. Firstly, James Perch, has he given you any feedback following his cameos in the previous 2 games?
He doesn't really need to. The way he headed that corner when he came on Tuesday night at Harrogate, that was as much feedback as we needed. You know, they got a corner with a few minutes to go when he was shattered, and we just put him in there and he went and headed it as though he hadn't been away at all. So that was as much a confirmation as we needed that he's okay. We'll keep getting him on the pitch. We've got a couple of games coming up, I think, later on in February in this Premier League Cup against Wigan and Leeds, I believe. So he's down to play in those, but if we need him in the meantime, we'll use him.
And what's the very latest on Richard Narty?
Yeah, Richard's a funny one. We had a chat with Burnley. They have in the agreement the option to recall him. We didn't have the option to send him back, and so we didn't sort of do anything. And Richard initiated it really and said, "Is it okay if I have a word with Burnley? I understand, you know, people are getting fit. Perch is back, which we didn't expect, and then look at maybe going back and getting somewhere on loan." And I had a chat with Sean Dyche, and what we've agreed is we keep his registration, so he's still with us, but he goes back to Burnley, plays for the 23s, trains with them, and if we need him, we can call on him. But essentially, he's gone back to Burnley. Apart from, albeit, we keep his registration. It's worked out, I think, for everybody. Worked out well for everybody.
So essentially, the bottom line, if you were to have a crisis at the back, a horrific tale of injury woes in defence, you could get him back.
Yes, yeah, he's still registered with us, but he can still go and play, you know, the 23s full-time training with the Premier League side, which will probably benefit him more than playing the odd game here and training. You know, he's coming back from his injury. He was out a long time as well, so he needs really in the second half of the season to get really fit and strong.
What about Will Forster? Is he definitely staying at Stoke now?
Yes, yeah. We inquired about Will coming back, but they were keen on keeping him. So, yeah, he stayed at Stoke, but I thought it was another good loan. We knew he was got the knock when he arrived. It took a week or two longer than we thought. But those games he played, scored a very important goal for us in the Cup at Doncaster. And the games he played, he acquitted himself, I think, very well. And then he got the other freakish injury, so that ended his spell. But a good lad, certainly a good lad, and he's been a good loan for us.
Kel Gordon, you mentioned earlier, a little longer term. What about George Lapsley? What's the very latest on him?
Yeah, he had a scan on Monday on his thigh, and it's a little bit worse than we thought it was. So we're looking at maybe another 3 weeks from now, something like that. But he's had this niggle before a few weeks ago and then a groin, so what we want to do is make sure we get him fit, completely fit, so that if he's available for the last 14, 15 games, however many it is, let's make sure he's fully fit for those.
Very finally, we've got a digital fans forum with yourself and David Sharp in a fortnight. Looking forward to the questions from the faithful.
Oh, thanks for confirming that. I didn't know about that. You'd mentioned it, but not...
We spoke the other night about it, but I think it was penciled in. It's now been confirmed.
Oh, right. Yeah. Looking forward to it, yeah. I think looking at the face of the fans again the other night, we've gone to Harrogate. We're a little bit disappointed we didn't win the game, certainly in the dressing room after the game. Fans were brilliant as always, you know, applauding us off the pitch afterwards, and they were behind that goal, so close to getting that winner when Jordan nearly put it over the line. But we had, I think, 4 or 5 situations kicking down the hill with the long throws, and Sturkey had a couple of efforts, Kieran Wallace, so close to getting that goal. But I think they're in good heart, and rightly so. I think we all are at the club at the moment, so I think it's good timing. As long as we don't lose the next 2 or 3 games, I think it's good timing to have a forum.
Thanks, Nigel.
Thanks.